Good evening, everyone. I'm Leticia Remauro, and you have reached Let's Talk News. Today's October 12th, 2025. President Trump is on his way to the Middle East. The ceasefire is still holding. Bad Bunny is still performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Diane Keaton has passed away. And NBC News is still the most corrupt news agency on the face of the planet. Good to have you with me. Um, Hope your weekend was uneventful, and we're all just holding our breath to see what's going on with President Trump. I mean, he seems to be predicting some good news in the Middle East front. Hello, Francine. Good to have you with us. Hello, Mama. Good to have you with me. I hope the tea and the pills worked. Mom was here for dinner and she doesn't feel good. We have pollen in the back, ragweed. I don't know about you guys, but holy moly, the ragweed is ridiculous these days. And she likes to sit out on the porch and she's suffering. Hello, Debbie Lebedo. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us. Um, so, the big news all weekend is this Middle East peace deal. And President Trump, I mean, it seems to be holding. He's on his way there. That makes me super, super nervous. I hate that he's going there, but I guess you can't, you have to, you have to go and you have to do the right thing and you have to oversee it. And he has just done something that I don't think anybody believed could actually be achieved. But I love how he brought this whole thing about. I mean, if you think about it strategically, it was really, really smart what he did. Hello, Kim. Good to have you. Yeah, it's rainy there. It's rainy here too. Really, really so much so that we had no internet up until 7:40. I thought I was going to have to cancel the show. But anyway, let's talk about the brilliance of Donald Trump because it's just remarkable, right? Um, they killed all of the senior Hamas officials. So who's left are all the young people. And though they are religious fanatics, I mean, young people are young people. It doesn't matter where you come from. Young people are young people. And in this day of age, where in this day and age where you get instantaneous information, that these young people are getting information about the West. And I'm sure, they're in their 20s and 30s. And I don't think anybody's in a hurry to die. Even though they're, martyr and all this stuff, I think the young people see that they have an opportunity to prosper and not live in squalor and not be afraid and not just have these threats, these religious threats over their head. And they see how the rest of the world lives. And I think that helped them to decide we better go for this peace deal because first of all, I don't think that they had the fortitude to continue on. It was just clear that they didn't. But maybe, that carrot dangled in front of their face, living in a nice luxury, apartment building, being respected, maybe getting their children educated. Yeah, you can still be religious and you can still believe in your God and believe that other people are infidels, but you don't have to live in squalor while you do it. So I think that it's kind of a stroke of genius. Hello there, Susan Derema. And we're going to talk a little bit about Venezuela. But, some things happened in Venezuela and are happening in Venezuela. And that's why Machado dedicated the Nobel Peace Prize to Trump, was because of what he's been doing, blowing up these boats, trafficking drugs and things, guns, and all kinds of things uh, out of Venezuela. Things are getting bad there, and actually, the Russian embassy there, Russia pulled out of Venezuela just before this latest boat was blown up. So I'm wondering, could Trump be dealing with Putin on Venezuela and dividing and conquering? I mean, maybe, he can't get him to stop the war in Ukraine, but is it possible that he's dealing with him in Venezuela and maybe divvying up the territory? Could be something to think about. I mean, he's always 10 steps ahead of everybody else. What do you guys think? I don't see a lot of comments there, and I don't know if it's because we're delayed or what. But I'll keep on talking if nobody else wants to talk. All right, so the focus of tonight's show is to talk a little bit about the hay fever and allergies. I'm good. There's going to be a lot of sniffling going on in the show. Hello, Andrew Dorman. Good to have you here. So the topic of tonight's show is the Nobel Peace Prize and the fact that María Corina Machado received it. And the Nobel Committee missing their opportunity to furthering peace in the Middle East. But then Machado dedicated it to Trump. So was that a slap in the face to the Nobel Committee? What do you think? I got to say, Leticia, after learning who has gotten the Peace Prize in the past and only one conservative on the committee, and also George Soros, that prize is not really a prize. Well, George Soros got the freedom, the American Freedom Award from President that was from President Biden. The past recipients for the last 25 years, Kim Dae-jung, the United Nations, and Kofi Annan. Jimmy Carter got it in 2022. Sharon Abadi, I don't know who that is. Wangari Maathai, International Atomic Energy Agency, and Mohammed El-Baradei got it in 2005. Mohammed Yunus and Graham Bank got it in 2006. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and Al Gore got it in 2007. Barack Obama in 2009. A whole bunch of other people that nobody knows who it is. The European Union got it in 2012 of all entities. 2013 Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. 2015 National Dialogue Quartet. Let's see. 2017 International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, 2020 World Food Program, and then, of course, a whole bunch of other people. And then in 2022, a Les Bialeski Memorial and Center for Civil Liberties. So that's who received it in the past. But, here's the thing about the Nobel Committee. They're legislators from Norway. And I got to actually meet the mayor of Norway when I was back, I guess it was 2000. And we were in the room where they deliberate. Norway, let me tell you, really, it's in Oslo. Oslo is where they meet. Really liberal, really, really liberal. Let's see. That was classy move on her part. Yeah, it was classy, but it was also ballsy because she basically thumbed her nose to the Nobel Committee, saying that Trump should have gotten it. Hello, Kevin. Good to have you. Hello, Mickey Petrides. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Hello, Angela Ricca. Sounds woke to me. Yeah, very woke. Trump is our prize. You're absolutely right. Hello, Beer Nuts. Good evening. Good to have you. So here the people on the committee, they're all very liberal. They are all academics, and we have the Socialist Leftist Party appointed Jürgen Watney Friendes. Then Asli Toj was appointed by the Progressive Party. Anne Enger appointed by the Center Party. Gry Larson appointed by the Labor Party. And Christine Clement appointed by the Conservative Party. And that was back in 2020. So, but the interesting thing about the Nobel Committee is that they're pro-Palestine. They have an affinity for Palestine, and they have been supporting movements to make Palestine its own state. And I think they might be just a tad anti-Semitic. And you can see it. It's kind of like the UN's cousin. They really are very, very liberal. I thought it was given for achievement. Well, it's supposed to be given for achievement, right? But they deliberate in private. Nobody gets to see the deliberation, and they don't say, why they give it, for the purpose. I think that prize is for the left, not for our president, who deserves the best president ever and world peace. Yeah. Wherever, Norway, wherever this whole thing began, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't look into to when it started or why. But the goal of it was always supposed to be to recognize people who worked towards peace in their lifetime. But I think it's overrated, and we see that it is also politicized. I think after Trump not getting this prize will change the minds on how important this prize is, which is not so much. I think you're right. I also think that when Obama got it in 2009 after doing nothing, and he actually started wars, it showed the hypocrisy of who they were. So I heard they campaign for that prize. Well, people have to nominate you, and probably they do campaign for it. So what will be the excuse for not giving to Trump next year after all he did? Who knows? Who knows? What was that? Here's the thing, is that this year, we're on the precipice of peace in the Middle East. Not only with the Abraham Accords, but with the dozens of other wars that Trump has solved. And now this whole negotiation that's taking place now to create humane living conditions in Gaza, and to evacuate Gaza to everybody, and then come in and create humane living conditions. The Nobel Prize Committee could have shown the world how important this move was to them by giving the prize, right? It didn't have to be to Trump alone. It could have been to Trump, to Netanyahu, to Hamas. They could have put them all together, or to Syria, or to all the people that have been negotiating. They could have named every single person that was negotiating, or they could have given it to the people of Palestine and Israel, right, for moving forward in peace. They could have done 1,000 things that would have shown how important what is going on in the Middle East is, but they didn't. They decided to go to Venezuela. And I'm not saying that, listen, María Corina Machado, she ran against Maduro, and she lost, and he put her in jail. And and then they had to let her out, and she ran again against him. So she certainly deserves the "I got big brass balls" prize. World peace, I don't know. Spreading democracy, absolutely. That's what her focus is, and that's what she's trying to do. But even in that vein, Trump is doing more to spread democracy in Venezuela than she is. Obviously she's put her career and her life on the line to do it, but Trump is now going in there with the muscle to help her do it. So when she gave that to him, or when she dedicated it to him, I think that she kind of said to the Nobel Committee, you're fools. You're fools. Leticia, I want to send a letter to Trump and a gift. Should I send it to Pennsylvania Avenue just to acknowledge his great peace deals? Yeah, I would absolutely send it to Pennsylvania Avenue. And I would mention that you are in the district of Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. He loves her, and they have a great relationship. And so put that on the package somewhere, or in the note. The Nobel Prize is hypocritical and disgraceful, and a disgrace to the people who really deserve it. I agree with that statement, Susan. I really do agree with that statement. So, again, so this really revered prize and committee meets, and they just get it wrong. They get it wrong. What message did they send? Honestly, they got it wrong with Obama too, because Obama actually started a war. So, but for them, I think they thought, well, since he was an African American elected to as president by America, who had slavery, then he somehow brought peace. I mean, I'm going out there to try and figure out why they gave it to him, because he's not done anything to bring peace anywhere. Not during his presidency, not during when he was a senator, nothing. So why did he deserve it? I don't know. Because they're liberals, and like anything else, they're about symbolism. But they missed their chance. They really could have done something great with this, because they could have pushed the peace further. You know what I mean? All eyes are on the Middle East right now, or on Ukraine and Russia, right? So, and either way, Donald Trump's involved in it. No matter which way you go, Venezuela, Ukraine, Russia, the Middle East, there's Donald Trump, the peace president. But they miss their opportunity. The message they are sending is it's a bullshit prize. Absolutely, it is not worth the crystal that, or whatever it is. I don't even remember what it looks like. I think it's crystal. I'm pretty sure. And it's a sin, because it was once a revered institution, but it's not. So anyway, I'm going to play you this piece. It's about 4 minutes. Listen to Machado. Listen to all of it. What Trump said, what Machado said, what they tweeted, and then tell me your thoughts.
Prize was awarded to Venezuelan opposition leader María Corina Machado for her struggle to achieve a democratic transition. The committee called her a woman, quote, who keeps the flame of democracy burning in a growing darkness, saying she, quote, has been forced to live in hiding, and despite serious threats against her life, she has remained in the country, a choice that has inspired millions. Now, we do have some of these photos that came in from the Nobel Committee there as they did make that announcement. Take a look at your screen. Again, María Corina Machado was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her struggle to achieve a democratic transition. Now, there have been calls for President Trump to receive that Peace Prize for his efforts in ending several wars, negotiating ceasefire deals since he took office several months ago. His most recent win, as I mentioned, is that ceasefire that began yesterday between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, which is expected to end the 2-year-long war. We also heard from White House spokesperson Stephen Chung responding on social media after the award was awarded there. He did say President Trump will continue making peace deals, ending wars, and saving lives. He has the heart of a humanitarian, and there will never be anyone like him who can move mountains with the sheer force of his will. The Nobel Committee proved they place politics over peace. And the White House, of course, saying that President Trump is the peace president. Now, we also heard from Maria. She did post on social media actually dedicating her award to President Donald Trump. Now, you can see this right here. She says this recognition of the struggle of all Venezuelans is a boost to conclude our task, to conquer freedom. We are on the threshold of victory, and today, more than ever, we count on President Trump, the people of the United States, the peoples of Latin America, and the democratic nations of the world as our principal allies to achieve freedom and democracy. I dedicate this prize to the suffering people of Venezuela and to President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. We also did hear from María Corina Machado just moments ago as she spoke with Rachel Duffy over at Fox News. It was very brief, but take a listen.
And tell our viewers why you decided to dedicate this award to President Donald Trump.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and to all of you for what you have done for Venezuela. And they decided to dedicate it to President Trump because he deserves it. Because not only has he been involved in only a few months in solving 8 wars, but his actions have been decisive to have Venezuela now at a threshold of freedom after 26 years of tyranny that have destroyed the lives of millions of Venezuela, destabilize the region, and undermine institutions in the United States, because having Venezuela as a safe haven of the enemies of the United States and using our territory and our resources to hurt the American people and American institutions is certainly a threat to the national security of the United States and the security of the hemisphere. But President Trump has been very clear, courageous in terms of dismantling this criminal structure. And on behalf of the Venezuelan people, I reaffirmed our gratitude and our commitment to this cause for the whole America. So I insist he deserves it. And we are very proud to be working at this moment with all these allies for this huge resolution.
So there you have it. In her words, he is doing more to support her efforts than anyone else. And I think that's really gutsy. It really, really is gutsy for her to dedicate that to him. We got Colleen joined us during the clip. Hello. That's okay. You can always play it back. That's the wonderful thing about this recording. You can always play it back. She's quite a woman. She is. Who is trying to make more peace than Trump at this time? Well, nobody. And, the thing is, as I was watching that clip, I was looking at the pictures of Trump. And, he enjoys being president. He wears it comfortably. You know how some presidents, it ages them. I mean, look at Obama. It aged him terribly. Look at Biden. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't think there's been any president that it hasn't aged. And you could see that the job is a killer for a lot of them. But he looks like he's having fun. And he looks like he's enjoying it, and he wears it comfortably. And the thing is he doesn't take himself seriously. And I think that's so important because he's a jokester. He speaks off the cuff. He's not stiff. He likes to have fun. I mean, we're going to have, is it the MMA? I forget. Or wrestling in the White House next year. He connects with people because he appreciates what Americans like. I mean, he goes to all kinds of tournaments. He goes, he supports the American team, no matter what they're playing, what sport. And people love him for that. And it makes us feel like he's our president. And that's something that the Dems will never understand. Never understand. Two patriots, yes. Both of them are amazing patriots. He's a regular guy, especially for a billionaire. Well, because he started out not being a billionaire, right? He was living in Queens, and yes, his family had a successful business, but it's not like he was, the original New Yorkers. He wasn't the Vanderbilts or the old money people of New York, the Astors. He was new money, and he wasn't accepted everywhere. Trump's a doer, bottom line businessman, patriot, man of the people, great sense of humor, answered the call of the presidency that God called him according to his purpose. God bless him. You're absolutely right. Yes, UFC. Thank you, Francine. UFC. Even Bill Maher said how easy he was to be around. It's true. Even his critics, if they're around him, they can't find anything to criticize him for. I feel like I could totally hang out with him, right? And that's the whole thing about him, right? Bill Clinton was that way. Obama, kind of, but Bill Clinton, I think, Ronald Reagan was that way. I think that in my lifetime, the presidents that I felt like I could go have a beer with was Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, sometimes maybe in the beginning, Obama. And then after that, he just got weird. He doesn't need it. We know how great he is as a president. You're right. He doesn't need it. But, it's not about whether or not he was snubbed, because I don't think he was snubbed. They were snubbed. Machado snubbed the committee by giving it to Trump. He has no ulterior motives. And that's the truth. I mean, he doesn't have all of the presidents that were in office before him all got rich in office. He's the only one that got poorer. So, the thing about him is that I've known him a long time. We didn't go out to dinner together, but we did have dinner parties, things like that. And I've had occasion to deal with him on campaigns. And I can say this is that he has always treated men and women identical. You know what I mean? Business is business. I walked in there in politics, and I wanted money for a candidate, and he was hard line with me, and I was hard line with him, and and I told him so, and I didn't appreciate that he was not being generous to my candidate, and I told him where he was going wrong with that. And he respects strong personalities. I mean, he never, I said some not nice things. He never held it against me. He respects everybody, and life is important to him. It's not just, he's not pro-life to be pro-life. Life is important to him, whether it's unborn life, whether it's, children, whether it is soldiers, police officers. Life is important to him. Every color, life is important to him. And the thing he hates the most is wasted life. I mean, after having his brother die of alcoholism, he won't touch a drop because he saw somebody that he idolized waste his life away. And that's not for him. So, he's a stand-up guy, and it just drives me mad that these critics, these Democrats, these libs, these woke people don't see it. And they don't see that they're on the outside looking in. We're not. They're the cult. We're not. We are the ones with our eyes open. They may be educated, but we have more information and we know more. So it really is. It's a shame. It breaks my heart that they spend so much time hating him that they don't see how silly they look. The important thing is he's very transparent. Oh, absolutely. We wouldn't have known half the things that were going on in our country if he didn't just speak out. And the thing is, I've worked with a couple of billionaires in New York, people in the know, and I've had to, spend time in their company, long periods of time, like on campaigns. It's 9 months, it's a year, it's 2 years sometimes. And they always had, the best gossip. They knew, whatever they said would come to pass because they knew firsthand what was going down. And it's almost like they can't help themselves for talking because they know and they want to share. And that's how Trump is. His actions match his words. Very refreshing. Yeah. The thing is that he's not a fake, a phony, and a fraud. He would not do anything for the American people that he wouldn't do for himself. And I think that the most telling public statement from him was when, do you remember when Hillary Clinton was talking about his income taxes and the fact that he didn't pay taxes? It was during their debate in 2015. And he said, "You're damn right. I take advantage of the tax code. If you don't like it, you should have changed it. But you won't change it because all your friends, all your donors depend on that same tax code that I do. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm following the law that you guys wrote. You were the first lady. Bill was the president. I'm utilizing that law to grow my business. And you won't change it because your friends all enjoy it too." So just remember that. I mean, that's the thing that tells me who Trump is. And it reminds me every day that he's just like us. All right. Well, we're winding down here. It's we've got about 30 seconds left. So his transparency scares them. Yes, you're right. And the fact that he wants America to be self-sufficient scares them because that's going to blow all of their investments around the world. Remember, we talked about that before. If America stands on its own 2 feet and we don't depend on the economies of other countries to support us, then that's going to destroy the world, the investments these globalists have. All right, everyone. So shame on the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, but bravo to Maria Corina Machado. And please say a prayer for President Trump in the Middle East, that he stays safe and that this peace deal lasts, and that these young people realize that God wants them to help themselves, and that means to do the best that they can on earth, not by blowing things up, but by loving their fellow man, whether they are Muslim or not. Okay, I will see you tomorrow night. Love you all. Thank you so much for spending this half hour with me. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Tell your friends. Hope to see you then. Bye.